Hello everyone and welcome to the Animezilla, and thank you for joining me as we talk about Yugioh Sevens episode 5. An episode filled with comedy and a message that basically is to state, don't knock it until you try it. So if you haven't done something, don't disrespect it, try it out and then give your opinion. As we follow the newspaper club, who is basically at the same school as our main heroes, after they publish an article defaming rush duels. And they even state that Rook is like this king, and he sees everyone as their servants. That was pretty funny, because Rook doesn't, but the way his character is portrayed and shown to us at the moment, he does have a very big ego, so I love the fact that fits in with that. But all in all, the newspaper club wasn't that bad. I'll admit, I did personally find him a bit overbearing in some places, but it was just the episode trying to show off their passion as a group. And for me, that's one thing I can really appreciate because it's character building. So therefore, I'm not going to be too harsh on these characters because, they're probably one-off characters. We're not going to see them again. But at the same time, they added a bit of enjoyment to the show. But this is a character we might see again, and that is the president of the actual club itself. The guy that actually duels Rook. And he was alright. His playstyle was pretty good, slowly whittling your opponent down before beating them into the ground with 3 of your ace monsters. Which, saying that, this character had one of the most comedic ace monster sort of like attacks that I've seen in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Throughout, all the shows that we've had. He literally just like sucks up the monsters and prints them out that way. I thought that was funny. But yeah. Another thing about this character is that he's so far had the most display of sinister facial expressions from a Yugioh Sevens character thus far in this episode. And I love the detail of the expressions. Like, you see this character at first and he's got bags under his eyes, he's looking lazy. But then once he gets serious, he looks like this. And that's just great. The facial expressions of like the evilness does remind me of Spectre a little bit from Reigns. You got other characters I can name, but I just like the fact that they've done this. It builds him up as an antagonist, and that is exactly what he's meant to be. He's meant to be a character that is kind of evil, well not evil, but an antagonist as such, that goes against the main characters, and then eventually gets turned to their side. Now, it is really obvious that this character has not played rush duels before publishing his article, as he calls the game shallow and states that the rules are so easy that someone like himself who struggles with memory can remember the rules easily. And that's why he thinks they're shallow, which to me is basically just the character kind of dissing himself. So he's just putting himself down by stating he has a very bad memory. But at the same time, it's also the show kind of giving a cheeky promotion by saying, look, if you got bad memory, rush duels are so easy that you could do them. You can remember the rules. It's not difficult. So I thought that was pretty cool. Next up, let's talk about Rook. Rook is another centerpiece of this episode, and this episode, he did a great job in making Rook's character more enjoyable. As not only did he show that he's a very good duelist when he's serious, granted, luck has pretty much helped him win twice in a row now, with Jagears being shuffled and him drawing it, and obviously episode 2 Yuga didn't draw another attribute monster, but nevertheless he did genuinely make me laugh with his comedy in this episode. Like Rook's character, yes, he can be quite serious, but over the course of the series so far, we've seen him be very comedic and very over the top, and you know what, it's got to me, it's made me laugh. I'll hold my hands up to that. I like it. I really like the fact that it was Rook though that stepped up to duel in this episode, as if you remember, Rook stated in episode 1 that the Duel King is someone who stands at the top of duels, but also teaches and guides those in the way of dueling. After all, his objective in this show is to basically show how fun rush duels can be to the newspaper club, thus trying to change their opinion. So I thought that kind of goal of Rook's linked well with the fact that he was trying to achieve something in this episode. He's overdramatic, I've stated this before, but both his imagination and desires were completely off the rails in this episode. I like that his character has pretty much done a 180 from episode 2. After all, he was seen wanting to keep rush duels a secret at first, but now he's more focused on promoting the game. However, it's more likely the fact that he's doing this to help achieve his own desires, as he probably does want to become popular and famous. We know he wants to become Duel King, but we see his ego get the better of him more and more times as the show goes on. So, it's a hidden agenda for Rook to kind of help promote rush duels, but at the same time, it's nice to see his character change and develop and move forward. So, Yuga. I loved Yuga's observation skills in this episode being shown off, because as of late, he's been doing that quite often, and it's clear that he knows how to assess a situation in order to get the best results for himself, which goes along hand in hand with him being an inventor. Yuga is someone who can create things, and if you're an inventor, you need to be able to have the skills to observe, assess, and analyze, to basically see where and when the best time to create and to promote something actually is. Those are some key fundamentals of being an inventor. And I like the fact that Yuga shows that despite his young age. An example of this would be that he suggests to the newspaper club that, would be a good idea. He says to Gakuto that, yeah, they're small, but it's still good because it still gets things to be promoted. And it's a dialogue, I think he says dialogue, type of promotion, which means that GoHop won't be shutting it down because they are less likely to see it. So I thought that was very clever. I thought that was good instincts and good intuition from Yuga's character. He also displays a great showcasing of cunningness as he tries to convince the club to re-edit, otherwise he'll scan the papers so GoHop sees it, thus possibly shutting down the newspaper club. I think that was very smart. It was kind of mean of Yuga to say that, but I like the way that he does go about things. It shows that his character is willing to do anything to get the results that he wants, and that's a good attribute for his character to have. Unless he decides to betray someone in the future, but then we'll have to cross that road when it comes to it. Romin in this episode, not a lot to say about her character. Her outfit was nice. I like the immatureness that we saw from her in this episode, with her teasing the club after they lose. I love that cheeky grin that you see on screen here. But yeah, Romin's character wasn't too bad. She was just there, and she added to the comedy a little bit with some expressions, I suppose. But nevertheless, that's all it was. Gakuto, he was just there. He didn't really do much, except in the beginning, he talked about GoHop kind of deleting things. So again, I like to have seen more from him, but the main focus was in fact the club and Rook. So I'm glad that they, had a good focus of the actual episode. So overall, I thought this was a great episode. I honestly did thoroughly enjoy it. We had a good message. I've already stated what that message is. It's to basically try something before you disrespect it or you say anything bad about it, because you might actually enjoy it. The animation was great, and the comedy was really good. I think this was probably one of the funniest episodes that I've seen from Vrain so far, and it generally did make me laugh, and I was having a good time watching it. The funniest scene, though, for me personally, was either the Kaizo bit at the end, being tied up. I just love the fact that they went from really serious action blasting, sort of Dragiers attacking Rook, naming his attacks, to just some random comedy. And this image just, I don't know, it caught me off guard, which made me laugh. And then the other one that I really did like was, in fact, Rook's kind of king image at the end. I love the fact that it just goes hand in hand and displays just how big of an ego Rook actually has. Plus, the facial expressions of Gakuto and Romin are just brilliant. So, I want to know what your thoughts are on this episode down in the comment section below. Or why not join the free Discord server and have a chat with me on there with some other people. I mean, this is a new Discord, so not a lot of people have joined yet. However, feel free to join. The link will be in the description underneath this video. So, I hope to see you there. Now, with Yugioh Sevens having a break because of real world issues, that's completely understandable, and I accept that. It's fine. However, fear not, as I do still intend to give you some Yu-Gi-Oh content once or twice a week. Whether that's a normal video, much like a review, or just me giving you my thoughts, maybe it's a theory, who knows, or whether or not it's me streaming a Yu-Gi-Oh game online. However, in order for me to start streaming, I'll need to know whether or not you as the audience wants to see something like that. Again, let me know in the comments. I've done a video, I think it was yesterday as of recording this video, stating basically like the, not conditions as such, but like this kind of ways in which I would be streaming if I was to stream. So I'll link that at the end of this video. But let me know what you prefer. As always though, thanks again for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new so you never miss a video from me. And until next time, I hope you have an amazing day. Arigato, matane, goodbye.